As president, I will support Israel's right to win its war on babies, and I will appoint child predators and bloodthirsty rapists to the U.S. Supreme Court. Our goal will be, as I said, the complete obliteration of our country. I'm here tonight because we must round up Christians and throw them in jail. How many Catholics do we have? Whoa. I love you. Get out. We want you out. Nobody's safe.
48 minutes of dogs barking. 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 Growl. Growl. 48 minutes of dogs barking. 48 minutes of dogs barking.
This is 48 minutes of dogs drinking. Mr. Jason over here, he's giving me some Midnight Moon moonshine, cookies and cream. And he took a sniff of it before handing it to me. And it was like he was sniffing varnish that had turned bad.
It's pungent is all I'm saying.
It stings the nostrils.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, it's the Moon Shake. It is a moonshine flavored like a milkshake. Cookies and cream, it says. Let's see how
It's actually pretty good.
Let's see here.
Damn, I'm about to call my dad and tell him I'm tired of his shit. Mm-hmm. That'll get you fighting something.
No shit. That's a Bailey's type of deal. Damn.
Woo, man, put that in your coffee?
Let's go, baby.
I'm going to start doing that at work.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
I coughed on my water bottle at work, and someone said, oh, you got some strong water there? And I go, yeah, man, I just can't drink the cheap vodka like I used to. And someone had to be like, dude, now I have to smell your water. And I'm like, open up my water bottle, and it's like, it's just water. And they're like, fuck.
God damn it. Yeah, they thought they got you.
I wish.
Yeah.
Nah, this seems like a warehouse where people just get really fucking high. I think you can operate a forklift a lot better when you're just really stoned instead of drunk.
That makes sense.
It's warehouse science.
Yeah,
it's warehouse science.
It's just math, man.
It's warehouse science. If I'm fucking someone in my department,
right,
but I'm also fucking someone that works across on the other side of the building,
right,
they're never gonna meet.
Fair. Yeah,
that's warehouse math.
Warehouse math. Yeah,
that is not. By the way, that is not something I'm partaking in. It's just things that I observe happening. Like, yeah, I'm hooking up. Like, I'm banging two different people,
right?
But they work in exact opposite corners of the building, so theoretically they're never going to meet, which is like not
true at all. Yeah. No.
One of y'all are going to slip up.
Exactly right. Well, you know who's never going to slip up? That's right. 48 minutes of dogs barking. I'm Jason. That's Brian. We're enjoying our festive activities here on a Thursday evening here in the beautiful city of St. Louis.
Beautiful Blur's Day.
And boy, it's just, I'm trying to forget the election. I'm trying real hard because everything in me just wants to open up the mic and just be like, hey, yeah, so fuck the DNC, fuck, all that.
Yeah, it's the recent episode of Chapo Trap House had Felix kind of rehashing what he said after Hillary lost, which is, like Dale Earnhardt, Hillary failed to turn left.
Woo!
And I mean, nothing really like would take my enthusiasm out of something like finding out like someone was really into like Harris.
Yeah.
I had gone on a date with someone like a month or so ago. We were kind of just like talking. We were at Forest Park sitting on a hill and like having this really lovely conversation. And then like she like breaks out her phone and she's like, oh yeah, you want to see like this really cool sweater I bought? And like I got like a matching cup and it was like all like Harris stuff. And I'm like, I think I was visibly frowning. And I was like, and she's like, what? I'm like, I just don't really believe. I'm not a conservative. I'm not a Democrat. I'm that special third thing. Like, oh, like a Bernie bro? And I'm like, further left than that, if you can believe it. And she's like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm like, okay. At least you don't think like I'm going to like spoil the election or something or say actually it's when kids in cages when Democrats do it, it's bad. It's perhaps even worse than when Republicans do it. Then I'm spoiling the party. Like, oh, okay, cool. Okay, we can hang.
It's tenuous out there. Well, the one bright spot that I have had in this week is this article, courtesy of Parker Malloy in the Present Age.
Folks, we're going to see if we can find out if the female orgasm is real.
That's right. The Onion now owns InfoWars. Ben Collins, the CEO of the Onion's parent company, Global Tetrahedron, told the New York Times, quote, "We thought this would be a hilarious joke. This is going to be our answer to the no guardrails world where there are no gatekeepers and everything's kind of insane." Parker opining here. Well, mission accomplished, Ben. Here's the deal. The reason this is all happening is because InfoWars has been pushing the Sandy Hook truther thing about like, oh, all these kids were crisis actors. They got sued to oblivion. They had to sell off all their assets. And one of the people to get into that auction was Ben Collins of The Onion.
That's amazing.
My favorite part of this is Ben Collins on Blue Sky, who goes with the handle Tim Onion. Great.
Like Tim Apple?
Yeah.
Okay.
It says, "I would like to reiterate, we own everything. The broadcast equipment, the supplements, the intellectual property for Brain Force Plus. We are still trying to figure out what to do with it."
I can't imagine what that has to be like for the people working with Ben.
Yeah.
On like this transition and trying to understand what they actually like have. Because like, okay, so we did this thing. We own the platform that has done so much terrible shit in the world, and now we're gonna make it some weird art Dadaist thing. I imagine, and but we also own the 9/11 dick pills.
Yes, absolutely. Ben also posting this that he had an interview with USA Today. As for the vitamins and supplements, we are halting their sale immediately. Utilitarian logic dictates that if we can extend even one CEO's life by 10 minutes, diluting these miracle elixirs for public consumption is an unethical waste. Instead, we plan to collect the entire stock of the InfoWars warehouses into a large vat and boil the contents down into a single candy bar-sized omnivitamin that one executive, I will not name names, may eat in order to increase his power and perhaps become immortal.
What an amazing line. What an amazing soundbite.
And yes, they did get the desk, he confirms. He posted on the Global Tetrahedron site, "Today we celebrate a new addition to the Global Tetrahedron LLC family of brands. And let me say, I really do see it as a family. Much like family members, our brands are abstract nodes of wealth, interchangeable assets for their patriarch to absorb and discard according to the opaque whims of the market. And just like family members, our brands regard one another with mutual suspicion and malice. All told, the decision to acquire InfoWars was an easy one." There is nothing funnier. I have been laughing at this all day. Just fantastic.
Yeah, actually had a guy come up to me at work and be like, "Dude, did you hear who bought InfoWars?" I go, "The Onion," and he goes, "Dude, that's so." He's just like, "That's so fucking crazy." He just walked away. He just like wanted to be like, he just wanted me to know.
Yeah.
In case I wasn't hip to it, like, yeah, I've been refreshing CNN all day, man. Not for this, just because I'm gonna make it really depressing. What do you think the odds are on Alex Jones getting position in the Trump administration?
Oh, what's the over/under?
I feel likely.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than 50%.
I'd say 75.
Yeah, you think so?
You got fucking Matt Gaetz in there.
I don't know if that confirmation is going through, though, so we'll see. But he was
Tulsi
proposed.
Gabbard, who's
Well,
insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
More insane than Matt Gaetz. I feel like Matt Gaetz might be a limited hangout in order to get Tulsi Gabbard through, because he's got the shock and awe of being just like an irredeemable human being.
Yeah.
But Tulsi Gabbard is like irredeemable human being +2.
This all started with a shitpost that Ben Collins put online at siege.online in response to the fact that InfoWars is going, all their stuff is going up to auction. Just post, Ben Collins has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. Ben quote tweets it with an Elon Musk tweet saying, "Looking into it." And lo and behold, not 5 months later, here we are. So
that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. What a great day for the internet.
He's continuing to post through it. He says, "Part of the reason we bought InfoWars is because people on Blue Sky told us it would be funny to buy InfoWars, and those people were right. This is the funniest thing that has ever happened."
It's right up there. It's right up there when Trump had COVID.
That's what I was about to say. Absolutely.
It's pretty good.
Another funny thing that happened, not funny in the same way, but in a very different way. I take it you're familiar with Nick Fuentes. Well,
I am aware of this man.
all right. Well, the other day after the election, he posts on
Is
Twitter.
that the guy who pissed in his own mouth? Or is...
I don't know about that. I just know he's a vile piece of shit.
Yeah.
So he posts, "Your body, my choice forever" on Twitter. 3 days later, doxxed on Twitter. Took him about 3 hours to get that taken down, but not before folks in his hometown started knocking on his door, ringing his doorbell.
Same guy that told me that the Onion bought InfoWars also told me, hey, did you see that Nick Fuentes' address got leaked online? I go, yeah. He goes, Chicago's not that far of a drive. And I'm like, all right.
Hell yeah, bro, let's go.
I was like, all right, dude. Let's get a couple fucking bottles of night train and just drive up north for a while and whoop some ass.
A woman in Illinois who goes by the name of Marla Rose on Facebook posted this. Okay, so what would you do if a neo-Nazi white supremacist who called on a holy war against Jews and is a loud, proud misogynist lives in your town, you're a Jewish feminist, and you know his address? Further, what would you do if friend after friend messaged you with his address and told you that you should pop over since you live in the same town and report what it looks like from outside his home at, and then the address blanked out? Are there boxes potentially possessing dog poo? Are there boxes potentially possessing used menstrual products? What would you do if it's a Sunday and you've done your work for the day? Pop over there, you would. You're a good friend. You're curious as well. So that is what I did. I shot a short video less than 2 minutes from the public property of the sidewalk outside his address, noting that there were no boxes. As I did, a woman pulled up in her car, rolled down her window, and was like, "Is this where the douchebag lives?" And I was like, "I think so." And we laughed about his incel ass for a minute. Then she was like, "You should ring his doorbell and see what he has to say for himself." And I have one serious weakness. It's chocolate. Okay, I have two. One more relevant for this situation. I cannot back down from anything that even smacks of a dare. So I figured, shrug emoji. There were no solicitor signs up, and believe it or not, I would have respected that. So I rang the doorbell. He immediately swung the door open like he was at damn Waco, sprayed me with a burning liquid, pepper spray, mace, and pushed me down the stairs onto his sidewalk. I rolled into a protective position because I was anticipating kicks or stomps. He grabbed my phone, ran back inside, bolted the door, and shut the blinds. Friends, it is dark in there like a bunker. I have video. I am holding on to it for evidence. Well, thankfully, she posted it anyway. So this is Marla Rose approaching the door of Nick Fuentes, and he immediately hits her with the pepper spray or whatever it is, takes her phone.
That is fucking wild.
Yeah, first thing he does is opens the door of pepper spray.
What if that had been David Duke knocking on his door? How embarrassed he would have been.
I know. Ridiculous. Short-sighted is what that is.
Short-sighted.
Yeah.
I like how Nick Fuentes has like the broccoli haircut too.
Oh, yeah.
Like he isn't our age.
And someone combining our story from last week about the guy calling the young men his concubines. It's at Aetius, at AETIUSRF on Twitter. "I've come for you, Fuentes. You will be my concubine. Pepper spray, pepper spray, pepper spray. That just makes me harder." Wow. I guess even in our justified revenge fantasies, I guess we just immediately think of male-on-male sexual violence as a thing that's justified.
Yeah. If we're going by the things that get discussed at work when we're under stress, yes.
I think a lot of different things are justified when it comes to Nick Fuentes, so I'm going to reserve judgment. Rape is kind of drawing the line, I think.
I don't think rape is funny unless it happens to Nick Fuentes.
That's fair. You know what? I'll give you that one. Just a perpetual misery machine. Just that guy. He's just beset on all sides by the world. It's great.
Looking like a double wide surprise.
And our last story to make you laugh this week, Brian.
I love to laugh at a movie that looks like it's going to fucking bomb.
For those of you not playing along at home, the movie Wicked is coming out.
Joker 2 for broads.
I thought Joker 2 was the Joker for broads. Anyway, because Lady Gaga's in it. Based on the immensely popular book, which became a musical, everybody knows the song Defying Gravity. The stage musical now becoming a film. The fine folks over at Mattel are going to capitalize on this by making Wicked dolls, right? Dolls.
They're fucking wicked, bro.
Yeah.
Like they come with a Jersey Mike's coupon.
Oh, yeah, you got to get it Mike's way, bruh. Anyway, who the fuck is Mike? So, yes, Mattel put these series of dolls out. Now, the website for the movie is wickedmovie.com. Can you guess what website was printed on these boxes?
Vivid Video? I don't know.
Wicked.com, home of Jenna Jameson.
Oh!
And many other adult film stars. Yes, it is a porn website.
Listen.
Wicked Features has been around since the 90s. They have had that website since forever.
Poor Janet Jameson is dealing with like multiple degenerative diseases. So you know what? She needs all of the eyes on her
That's fair.
of her legacy work.
You know what? I'm going to go. Let's see what
See what we
Wicked.com
got.
has.
See what we got here.
Because Wicked.com has been around since, according to this Hollywood Reporter article, since 1994. Wicked Pictures.
Wicked fucking the snatch. He is unbelievable.
Let's see here. Kenzie Loves Girls. That's the new title they're coming out with here. Let's see here.
Sunny Gold Melons.
The 66th Day, starring Vanna Bardot. Kenzie Loves Girls, too. Everybody's got the Kenzie Loves Girls. Kenzie Taylor, Giselle Blanco. I love how on this porno site, everything is made up to look like a Netflix.
Yeah, there's the production values are surprisingly middle brow.
Now, they've always been pretty high, because I remember Wicked being like...
Oh, Jules Blue.
Yeah, Jules.
Who else we got here?
Stormy Daniels, obviously. Mm-hmm. Coco Lovecox on is a Wicked girl.
That chick's insane.
She's very nuts.
I'm guessing you saw the same video about the McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, at the bottom...
That is, I feel like it's like one of those things like I killed someone 20 years ago and you being like, I know.
Yeah.
It's so upsetting that you know what I'm referencing.
Purgatory X. Anyway. Anyway.
Oh, God. How irredeemable are we?
We're pretty bad.
We're like guys that look at Goatsy like it's an old friend.
Yeah, hey.
And yet I have pierced a veil between us, which I feel like I cannot repair this.
Here's the thing about that scene. I don't like the piss.
I don't like the piss. It's not a good piss scene.
I know. Anyway, as it turns out, Wicked.com, they also did a bang-up job with superhero porn parodies. Yeah. Apparently, they've been winning a bunch of awards. They got Spidey Pool XXX, Captain Marvel XXX, Black Widow XXX, and several others. But yeah, boy, a Spidey Pool, Alex Braun doing the thing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Their roster is very deep. It goes back 30 years. But the dolls are now making their way to eBay, of course, because that's what happens with a misprint on a box like this. The products with misprinted labels, starting at $100 all the way up to $800, the dolls retail for $24.99 and $39.99 respectively. So I love this type of thing because it used to happen all the time with whitehouse.com.
Yeah.
It was like,
that was like the high school one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, apparently it's still happening because somebody slapped wicked.com on a
yeah.
box for
some
kids.
people are theorizing that this is a offshoot of Mattel perhaps cutting some corners using AI for their packaging.
It wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah.
But yes, apparently the dolls were already on the shelves at Walmart, Kohl's, Macy's, Best Buy, DSW, and Amazon. Just a hoot. I love it.
Gosh, wow. You know, what a terrible thing that happened to a movie that looks absolutely amazing.
And this still that they have here, Ariana Grande, which that's a whole thing, but Cynthia and Erivo, I keep trying to say Enviro, but there's no N in that name. Cynthia Erivo, it looks like Gamora from fucking Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's just a little too uncanny valley, whatever they're doing there. You ever just look at a movie and be like, oh, there was probably a really good version of this script at some point, and it got fucking beat behind the fucking tool shed. And this is what we got stuck with.
It's already an adaptation of an adaptation, right?
Sure.
So
it's a fucking artifice of an artifice.
And the original, quote, was a retelling of L. Frank Baum's shit from Wizard of Oz, so it's already 4 layers deep. It's like a copy of a copy of a copy of a VHS tape. There's a limit to how bad it could get.
Degradation, the generation loss.
How bad could it get? Well, I guess we're about to see this summer. Only in theaters, Brian.
When does this fucking wet turd come out?
I do not know. Wouldn't it be funny if they dumped it in January? Because that's where all the shit movies end up.
I get the feeling this is probably like their big Christmas or big Thanksgiving.
November 22nd. Oh my gosh.
This is their big Thanksgiving movie. It is. Wow, they're really fucking swinging for the fences here. Like this thing looks like hot. Have you watched the trailer?
Yeah, it's terrible.
It looks like hot garbage. It looks like something that would have been like on Sky TV 20 years ago.
Or on Hulu today.
It's bad, yo.
We know what else is bad. Getting scammed out of $6 million. That's right. It's Crypto Scam of the Week, Brian.
You're listening to 48 Minutes of Dogs Barking, the podcast.
And now it's time for the Crypto Scam of the Week.
Oh,
6 million smackers.
6 million
God,
smackers.
You could buy so many wicked dolls with porno URLs on them.
So this courtesy of Cointelegraph. Arisht Sarkar writing here. Phishing scam via fake Zoom link costs Giga investors $6 million. Now, of course, Giga, short for the Gigachad token. He held $6 million worth of the Gigachad token. So, first of all, problem number one. But also, it says November 12th, Giga recorded an unusual price drop triggered by a massive sell-off. Soon after, prominent pseudonymous Giga investor still in the game proactively alerted against the involvement of a hacker. Just want to be transparent, he says. The massive sell on Giga today was due to one of my wallets being drained by a fake Zoom link. This hurts bad, but I will be back. I will always stay in the game.
That's right, man. Fucking hustle your way back there, man. Fucking getting your little 2 and 3 X's on your meme coins. And you get back, you build your portfolio up over 6 months, and then you click another fucking bad Zoom link and lose your $500,000 that you grinded so hard for on Peanut coin or some shit.
The minute that Peanut story came out, I'm sure there was 50 million.
There is.
Are you all in on it? Is that what
No, but it is one of those, unfortunately, one of those crypto projects where if you were to take the chart and look at the fucking God candle.
Yeah.
It is literally a flat line.
And then,
like fucking straight up, tiny little bull flag at the top.
Oh boy.
And and you're just like, well, a lot of people that aren't me just made a bunch of money by being stupid. And I'm like, I'm reading this at work.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, well, all right, I guess. So Scam Sniffer on Twitter here posting what the link looks like. The first one, which is on the left, does look pretty legit because good scam links do. The Cointelegraph continues, still in the game, said the phishing website installed malware on their laptop, which the hacker later used to collate funds from 3 wallets into one before cashing out. He owned 95.3 million Giga tokens valued at $6 million. The hacker exchanged them for 11,759 Solana, worth about 2.1 million, before converting them to Tether and USD coin. So the Giga holder lost the 6 mil, but then the scammer sold it for 2 mil.
Right, because there probably wasn't a liquidity pool.
Yeah.
So if he had been smart, he would have been chiseling. You're not fucking up the chart too much. You're not fucking up the liquidity. So maybe you'd sell 100K over a day.
Oh, so you want to be scaffolding?
Yeah. So that's like, first of all, if you are someone that somehow gets fucking super lucky on some weird crypto bullshit and you turn $800 into 2.1 million, which has honestly happened to more than a handful of people in this world. The ethical way and the intelligent way to do it is really just chisel, sell under 100, depending on what the liquidity is.
Little bits at a time. Okay.
Little bits at a time, because you also don't want to fucking cause a sell-off.
Right.
You don't want to fuck up the chart, so you're really just giving people little mini dips to buy.
Okay.
Bring that liquidity back in. Bring that volume back in.
Oh,
again.
So
yeah. You're trying to sell without fucking dipping the chart too much.
So you're creating teeny tiny little waves in the chart for people to buy and sell and buy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be smart.
Crypto's fucked up, but if you're going to be like the least asshole-ish way to do it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So yes, apparently he called the FBI and a forensics team to help recover the funds. The investor was optimistic about making up the loss in the ongoing bull market. Quote, "I'm going to make it all back and more. Just watch me."
He's going to fucking hit some luck.
Yeah.
Get back close to where he was. And do the same thing again.
Even a couple years on and doing this show, I'm still sometimes dumbfounded by just the sheer chutzpah of some of these guys.
Right.
Is this common? This kind of like attitude? Or are most people doomers like me are like, well, I blew my $50. That's fucked. I'm done.
I mean, it's the degenerate mindset.
Sure.
Some people just really aren't. They're not willing to back down or back down quickly. That is my hot take. I have seen people in the crypto space fuck up their bag and like have to get like a fucking job for the first time in a couple of years and still like have that grind set. And like, I think that's toxic.
Yeah.
But some people, I mean, I do admire some people to some small extent that are tenacious. Like, I fucked up my bag. And they're like, I'm not going to let that get me down.
Sure, there's that relentless optimism that is enviable.
And there are some people that make the same fucking mistakes over and over again.
See, I feel like I always fall into the latter category
Yeah.
every time. Every time I try to make even the tiniest move, it's a shit show every time. And that's when I decided, well, I lost my first $200. I'm like, okay, this isn't for me. This is good. I'm good. I'm fine. This is it for me. So last week, as our main topic, we talked about the depths of despair, Despair Incorporated. Now this week, we're going a little bit lighter. We want to kind of bring things up a bit. It's the folks called the Brunching Shuttlecocks. Brian, are you familiar with this at all? Barely. The Brunching Shuttlecocks was a website started by two fellas, one whose name I really find a hard time believing is his real name, Lore Fitzgerald Joberg.
What a fucking name.
What an appellation. Yes, sir. And I mean, he kind of looks it. This is a photo from 2012, courtesy of the Everybody Wiki. But yes,
that looks right. That tracks.
And so he joined forces with a gentleman by the name of David Nielsen, also known as the Self-Made Critic, and they created an online humor magazine entitled The Brunching Shuttlecocks. It was 1997 when they created this website. The thing about The Brunching Shuttlecocks was that there were some fun stuff. There were some really easy jokes like, oh, and this one's been used by a lot of radio hosts as kind of a game to play on their show. And it was quizzes, but one of the quizzes was porn star or My Little Pony. And these two columns had had all these names. Which one was the porn star and which one was My Little Pony? Very similar to, I'm sure you've heard the game of heavy metal band or prescription drug, things like that.
Right.
They were also featured things like satirical songs. There was one about Bjork that was featured on Dr. Demento in 2001. They had an entire hierarchy page devoted to the Harry Potter fandom in 2007, which really strike him when the iron was hot. This here, the web archive, showing you it in all its glory. And this snapshot is 98. Okay, so this is what 1998 looked like. This shows you what it looked like in 2005 when the site was pretty much over. There's a lot of great writing. The truth about poinsettias. I always felt about these guys that they were kind of the anti-Maddox, whereas Maddox was just pissed about everything and everything sucks and blah, blah, blah. They're more like, hey, do you like McSweeney's? Cool, we're going to do that. And
Yeah.
There was an entire comic strip about Lore himself called Lore.
Yeah.
The other quiz, Perfume or Marvel Supervillain. They had a Jedi Master knowledge quiz. They had a Write Your Own Alanis Morissette song.
So this is like pro BuzzFeed.
Very much so, yes.
In a way,
yes.
too.
There was even a cyborg name generator. You would give it your name, brunching.com. Not just for the shit lib in your life.
Boy, I wonder how bad brunch reservations were last weekend.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's a lot of writing. If you go back through
so much.
Every week, Satan writing about wine tasting, a review of the Royal Tenenbaums, the Apocalypse drinking game. Let's go to the Apocalypse drinking game. This one here, Laura Sjoberg. If the righteous ascend into heaven while the sinful remain on earth to face the tribulations of Satan, take a drink. And so on and so forth. I mean, it goes through the whole bits. If Christ returns and does battle with the Antichrist at Armageddon and binds him and casts him into the bottomless pit, raises the faithful from the dead, rules the planet in peace and harmony for 1,000 years, then welcomes the righteous into heaven and casts the souls of the wicked into a pit of fire to burn for all eternity, finish the bottle. So, yes, fantastic stuff. And it's sharp, it's funny. There's always this kind of very dry satirical wit to it. Even the reviews of things, like this here self-made critic, a.a. Daniel Neilbaum, writing about the Royal Tenenbaums. The line that always stuck out to me: cockfights aside, this is an intelligent movie about intelligent people. Genius is a term tossed about like rice at a politically incorrect wedding. This is a film about eggheads and what makes them eggheads. It is possible that some people will not like this movie. Quite simply, there is no ordinary character with which a normal audience can identify. No Mortimer from Arsenic and Old Lace, no Lisa from The Simpsons. This may well turn people off, unable to accept the world as it is presented to them. Those people are sad, and we mock them openly.
That's some great writing.
Yeah, and these guys have really... They kept up with so much. And again, 1997 to about 2003, they kept writing and writing and writing. I mean, articles and quizzes and reviews and just goofy shit. Like, here's the wedding vows to avoid, you know. This one is a flash video. They had flash videos, which they called Bandwidth Theater, because obviously you got to be on a better connection than most to make full use of them.
Right.
So much content on this one site.
It's insane, really.
Let's see here. Yeah, stages of coping with terminal illness. A review of 8 Mile. Here's a Tom Hanks. Where is he now?
20 years ago, we were asking Tom Hanks, where is that man?
Every month, just stacked and packed. And I guess there's also kind of a proto-cracked, because there was always stuff like If Movies Were Smart, or...
Right.
Let's see here. Oh, the Bjork song. Oh, the Bjork song.
Oh, Bjork, Bjork, were you brought by the stork, or were you created from butter and cork? I love you so much that I act like a dork. Oh, Bjork, oh, Bjork, oh, Bjork. Oh, Bjork, Bjork, were you brought by the stork, or were you created from butter and cork? I love you so much that I act like a dork. Oh, Bjork, oh, Bjork, oh, Bjork.
Oh, Bjork, were you brought by the stork, or were you created from butter and cork? I love you so much that I act like a dork. Oh, Bjork, oh, Bjork, oh, Bjork. Repeat until insane. So apparently they did. See, that kind of writing and that kind of singing also makes me think Mystery Science Theater.
It is very MST3K.
There's so much happening on this website. To go through it all would just be insanity. But I'm trying to find... There it is. The Complete and Utter Idiot's Guide to Making a Bologna Sandwich. David Nielsen here writing, hello, and welcome to the Complete and Utter Idiot's Guide to Making a Bologna and Cheese Sandwich. Ready for lunch? Good, let's begin. We're going to start our journey by assuming that you already possess each of the individual items you'll be needing to make this sandwich. It's a bit of a stretch, I know, but Lord knows we don't have time to take you shopping. So that said, the first thing you're going to need is a place to make your sandwich. My suggestion would be a plate. So reach into your cupboard and grab a plate. Any will do. No, that's a bowl. Plates are flat. Right, yes, that's flat, but it's a cutting board. Plates are going to be round. Yes, the bowl is round, but it's not flat, is it? Just, Christ, forget it. Grab that cutting board you had in your hands. Perfect, put it down. And it goes from, it's step by step. Your refrigerator, big thing in your kitchen, stores food. Yes, and beer, too. That's the what, just sharp-ass writing is what I'm saying. Truly something else. Things you can make out of snow. New He-Man characters. Let's see here. Boy Scout merit badges. The one for space exploration are the Boy Scout merit badges. Talk about pipe dreams. At least a young scout can hold a reasonable hope of carving a wooden duck, playing taps, or participating in an auto workers strike, but the chances of actually putting this knowledge to work are pretty slim, unless you count pointing out inconsistencies in Apollo 13. On the other hand, if my choices are between building a model rocket for this badge or comparing double knit fabric to industrial grade woven fabric for the textiles badge, I'm all over that plastic nose cone action. Sharp, baby. Writing. I love it. Loris Yordberg. So, I've always wondered, I read the site religiously when it was out, you know, as all of 17, you know, and I kind of fell off. I think maybe about 2000 is when I stopped reading this website in particular. Because again, they got so much content every day. There's something else. And I stopped reading. And now that I'm thinking about this website again, I was like, well, what are these guys doing? Surely something good, right?
Right.
Well, first, during that period of time that the website was active, Laura Shorberg did write a book called The Book of Ratings, Opinions, Grades, and Assessments of Everything Worth Thinking About. And his bio reads, Laura Fitzgerald Shorberg lives in the San Francisco Bay Area. His hobbies include doubt, ennui, angst, regret, uncertainty, resignation, and puppetry. And it is literally some of the best parts of the site, which were reviews of things and giving them A grades or B grades, which I always thought really influenced Annie Daly and the show Review. Have you seen that show?
I'm familiar, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Getting a Divorce, 1 star. Well, it feels like it came straight from this ratings book, the Book of Ratings. He got hired by Wired in 2006 to write alt.txt and read his written work aloud on the Wired News podcast. He did capsule ratings as part of alt.txt on Wired.com. Got canned by Wired in 2008, which is a damn shame. Another blog that he started called the Slumbering Lugfish Yubik Hotel and All Night Boulangerie.
That's an amazing title for anything.
Worked with the Evil URL, which was the functional parody of Tiny URL. So, been keeping busy, right?
All right.
And here's an interview from the year 2007. And he says, Brunching Shuttlecocks was inspired by the fact that I was tired of listening to my friends discuss their stock options and 401k plans, in part because they had them and I didn't, and wanted to recruit some of them to work with me on something creative and fun. As it turns out, David Nielsen was the only one with the time and inclination to get involved seriously, so it ended up being just us. But that's fine too. What was your favorite project to work on? Whichever one I'm inspired by most at the moment. You know, how did you start work on the Book of Ratings? Random House contacted me, oddly enough. A guy who works in their web division asked permission to pitch a ratings book to the editors. They liked it. They offered me a contract. I accepted. And after putting it off for a number of months, I wrote the book. It's a story as old as the stars. How many submissions does Brunching get a month on average? We don't read submissions anymore. We get a few. I don't actually read them, so I don't know how many there are. I'm not trying to be callous, but going through submissions takes more time and effort than actually writing original material. And if I'm not going to use outside material, it's best not to read it. So yes, most of the content was 2 guys, and it was a lot.
Yeah.
The other fella involved in the website, David Nielsen, has gone on to do an astounding number of things in terms of writing. He's written a series of silly stories for kids, including the Legends of Sleepy Hollow book, Original Tales of Terror, Beyond the Doors, which my kids have read.
Wow.
Dr. Fell and the Playground of Doom, The Inappropriate Adventures of Horace Whitley, Lillian Lovecraft and the Harmless Horrors, all sorts of just fun stuff. He's written middle grade and elementary age books for a number of publishers, including Heinemann's Phonus, Pinnell Program, and Scholastic. But he also is a voiceover actor and storyteller. So he does a 45-minute one-man show about the life and trials of British Major John Andre during the American Revolution. He also does performances of Washington Irving's Legend of Sleepy Hollow, stories of H.P. Lovecraft, and various others. So it's really fun. He's really branched out into some interesting stuff. I always like this idea of like, okay, I did all this writing comedy-wise, but I'm just going to dig into horror or like old stuff. And it's nice to see that these 2 fellas who did so much for the web content world just continuing to work and doing things that are interesting. That's nice.
Yeah, it's really neat to see internet weirdos and OGs, not unlike friend of the show, K. Thor Jensen, to like keep moving forward, keep doing shit. It's always a bummer when it's like, oh, someone did a website 20 years ago and they just kind of fade them into obscurity.
Yeah, it's kind of painful that way. You're just like, oh, That was it, huh? Mm-hmm. It's a real shame. We've covered a couple of these sites that have these kind of success stories before. You know, we did Old Man Murray, where Chad Falsick has moved on to work with Valve and all that stuff. So, I mean, I always find that, like, yeah, we started from nothing, and now we've kind of made a name for ourselves, and we're just doing it. That, to me, is just, it's fun. I love to see it. Brunching Shuttlecocks, if you got a chance, the website is still up, so you can go through all the old articles and just read them to your heart's content. I'm going to leave you with one last thing from it. Again, Laura Stjoberg performing a parody song about the Indigo Girls called Your Roommate Plays the Indigo Girls. And what got me thinking about this website was a post on Blue Sky at cooner.art. Toon Raccoon posted, someone preserved it.
I'm trying to tell you something about... Wait, no. All right, hold on. I'm trying to tell you something about my life. I'm trying to tell you... All right, hold on. Well, I went to the doctor, and I went to the mountains. All right, hold on. Closer I am to find... Okay. All right, hold on. Okay. Closer I am to find...
Someone starting and stopping, trying to play Closer to Find for 14 minutes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you can skip anywhere in this video, and it's gonna. Wait, no, hold on. Let me.
I got.
And that, I think, should be one of the lasting impacts of the site. Probably won't be. It'll probably be some fucking Harry Potter shit. But anyway, they were also, by the way, a very furry-friendly site. They had the Java Programmers or the Erotic Furries of Programming article from 2006. Brunching Shuttlecocks. We love to see it, folks.
Folks, we love to see it.
When the site was kind of brought back up, Metafilter gave it this little review here. Yeah, Laura Stjoberg was my favorite web funny guy of all time. Back in college, we'd refresh Brunching Shuttlecocks in the hopes of finding some new bit of internet joy. Let's take a moment to examine the giant shipwrecking bulk that lies within just beneath the surface of the Stjoberg. I'll post that in the show description so you can enjoy that article, because it does link to some of the best ones.
Well, ain't that nice? Well, Jason, it's time to do something gross.
Yes, indeed. Shot.jpg.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Shock.jpg.
What we got today?
This one's called CockKnot, Brian.
Oh, geez, cool. I wonder what's going on here.
CockKnot.com. CockKnot.com. For all your CockKnot needs.
Oh, yeah, that's what it says on the box.
Black background, white text, a long-ass cock tied in a neat bow, and sure enough, immediately below it, there is a gentleman, a ginger, I believe, based on the pubic hair there. I don't know, maybe just a blonde? I can't really tell. But yes, a big hog tied in a knot around his balls.
Yeah,
so it's got
impressive.
Uncut too, but it's just
he's got the turtleneck.
He does indeed.
Anteater going on here,
and he's out in a field somewhere. Now I want to think it's some guy who like has a farm or like lives on a farm. He's like, I'm just gonna show off and walk out on my property. But the funnier one is like, I drove out 20 miles outside of town to get this photo in a field so no one can figure out where I live. Sets the tripod up at waist level, starts working himself into a knot, literally. CockKnot.com.
Beautiful thing. It looks like raw bacon.
It really
stretched it this way.
Wrapped around
like hors d'oeuvre?
Yeah. Like
pigs in a blanket?
Pigs in a blanket. Yes, thank you. I couldn't think of the
Hog
word.
in a blanket?
But yeah, so this one I found, there was a website that was just called Shock Sites List. But it's so old that it itself was down, so I had to like go to the web archive for Shock Sites List and then go to the ones where it's like pictures of dicks. I'm like, okay, click on that category. 3 links deep was CockKnot.com. Oh boy.
Beautiful.
It's really unassuming. There's nothing to it. It's literally
it really does what it says on the tin.
Really is. There's no question about what you're looking at. There's no, this is it. And it's not even all that gross. It's just like, whoa, okay, I guess I did that.
I guess that dude did that to his dick.
I guess this is the thing that happened, yeah. It's probably the shortest shock.jpg we've had because, again, it's
a minute at least. Usually it's... I guess, if if you really want to call an audible, we can pull up that Luna Lovecock
No.
video.
I mean, maybe later, but you know.
I felt bad enough watching it by myself. I don't know how I would feel watching it with someone else.
Yeah, I don't know. Seeing that particular one, and if you know, you know. If you don't
look.
Yeah, don't bother.
Don't like you really.
It's fine. But there's a whole Britney Spears angle to it that I was like, oh, this is a little okay. All right, I guess this is what we're doing. I don't know, man. It's such a strange thing, and it goes on for fucking ever. It's like 40 minutes long. Anyway, very long video.
I'm just saying, if someone pissed on my face, I ought to get the McDonald's I want.
Honestly, yeah. I don't care who's paying for it. You piss on me, I
want my fucking double cheeseburger.
I'm getting the double quarter pounder after that. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Just like Coco Lovecock, we are going to need a breath mint. That's right. This is breath mint.
It's time for your mom's favorite part of the show. It's time for the breath mint.
Jesus Christ. Oh God. Oh God.
Oh boy.
This is like the reason how there's someone I work with that has the Casey Green dog "This Is Fine" sticker on their water bottle, and I always want to be like, oh, I know Casey.
Yeah.
But I don't want to ever explain how or why I know him.
I showed him a picture of 3 soccer players fucking each other. Yeah. In which, if you haven't heard, that is an older episode of ours. Go look it up. The search featuring Casey Green. It's the second one. But yeah. What was the other one we showed him? Because we showed him something else that was nasty. It was like a guy covered in shit or something. I don't know.
Can't remember. It was explicit, and he took it in stride.
I mean, Casey's been around a long time, and he's the one posting comics about like a parent showing their child rotten.com. So I mean, he knows, he knows what's up.
What did we show K. Thor Jensen?
Oh God, I don't know. Sometimes I think about like what we've shown people. I'm like, I'm really ashamed that I did this. Actually,
you know what? I still think the funniest one is probably still Drew Tooth. Oh, they're gay. That's why it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Drew.
Yes, Drew. Yes, you've cracked the code, my man. All right. Cool.
Yeah, it's always funny because they're gay.
It's funny because it's weird, and why are we looking at this? Yeah.
Why are you like this?
Yeah. I've been asking myself that a long time.
Did we show a gross thing to Thought Slime?
Yes.
What did we show him?
I don't even remember. I've seen so much gross shit on this show, I don't even know.
That feels like it feels more transgressive than showing something explicit to Drew Toothpaste.
That's fair.
And that was like our 5th episode.
Oh God, yeah, it was early on.
God.
Yeah, we were young pups.
Yeah,
we didn't know nothing. That aside, I think it's time for the breath. So, do you want to start it? You got something going?
Yeah, I got one something you had spoken about, in the last couple of months, and I finally have seen it myself, so I have something to say, which is I saw the TV Glow.
Oh boy, what did you think?
What an amazing movie up until the ending, which is I think my number one complaint with movies right now is like, wow, this is so amazing and thoughtful and creative, and then like you couldn't stick the landing.
I had that same problem with Jane Schauenbraun's previous film, We're All Going to the World's Fair. Yeah. It was engaging, I was in it, and then the ending hit, and I went, well, fuck.
Yeah.
But I can't discount the rest of the movie because the ending didn't stick. 90% of the movie's great, and I got to go with that. I got to just, make peace with the fact that maybe...
What a great Conor O'Malley cameo.
Fantastic.
I mean, I guess it's an allegory for transitioning, which works. I think it works really well as that, or just like taking chances in life.
What did you think of Fred Durst as the abusive father?
That was fucking weird.
Great, though.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, Fred Durst, okay. Where have you been? This was hiding up your sleeve this whole time, huh?
That was weird when I realized it was Fred Durst. I'm like, okay, well, he kind of fucking did all right.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that the female lead was from Bill and Ted, the sequel, where they had like their daughters, which are basically the Keith.
Until you just said it, it didn't dawn on me either.
Like, yeah, the Bill and Ted sequel.
Face the Music, yeah.
Face the Music. The best part are the daughters. The daughters, who are basically like the Key Stack lesbian
Yes,
comics.
yes, they are Leslie and Brienne. Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're amazing performance. Best part of the movie. I would
Yes,
say.
yes.
But she did a great job. There's just like a lot of aesthetic choices that feel authentically like mid-90s.
The Fruitopia machine.
The Fruitopia machine blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
Just little touches. And it didn't feel like they were trying to like, it's the 90s, man. Like it's all most stuff's very subtle.
Yeah. It's background flavor.
Yeah.
Kind of like how in It Follows, the Detroit suburbs.
Yeah.
It's like it could be anywhere, but if you know a little bit, you can kind of get that flavor. That same kind of feel, I thought.
But I really, really fucking enjoyed that movie up until the ending.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this didn't hit.
And I think, like I said at the time when I first saw it, maybe I'm the wrong audience. Maybe for someone who is questioning, someone who is going through the process, maybe this is going to hit a little harder for someone who's had that experience. Maybe for someone who has that life experience that mirrors or echoes what this character is going through.
Resonates in a personal level, sure.
Yeah, and so I think maybe the power is not necessarily in what's on screen, but in how the audience perceives it.
I just don't think it lands. Everything worked as far as like metaphor up until probably like the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah,
and
the birthday
it started
party.
kind of fall apart. I'm like, this sucks because it was so amazing up until then, and the whole thing about like the fake Power Rangers, like, you know, after school TV.
I think it was supposed to be Buffy.
I think it's a little bit. It's supposed to be a little bit Buffy.
Yeah.
Because like someone that wasn't in Buffy is in the movie.
That's true, yeah.
It's supposed to be a little Buffy. It's supposed to be a little bit of Power Rangers. It's supposed to be that after school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, plays at 4:30 on the Fox and the local Fox affiliate.
Cheap.
There's just so much I liked about it.
Yeah.
It was so interesting and thoughtful and weird.
Yes.
And I think if you want to take it as a metaphor about transitioning, I think that works really well. I also think it works really well as a metaphor for like doing shit.
Yeah.
Like taking a chance in life. And the soundtrack was really cool. There's just so many cool little things about it. I just don't think the ending played off. Like it's a fucking 10 out of 10 movie until you get to that last scene.
That happens sometimes, especially French movies do that with me a lot. I don't know if I told you about High Tension, but like the last 5 minutes of that movie tanked it for me. So I just say, well, okay, watch it up until the last 5 minutes and then just turn the movie off.
I was just bummed. I was just bummed that it couldn't stick the landing. Like, but longtime listeners of this podcast know that's like pretty much my main complaint with modern movies is like everything is great except the ending. The ending sucks shit. Late Night with the Devil.
I don't know. I like that ending. But again, that's where you and I differ on a lot of things. So, sometimes I'm like, that's fine. It's fine. Not it was good, but it was fine.
It could have been better.
Well, of course, a lot of things could have been better. They could have not used AI.
I feel like with that movie, it kind of fell apart near the end. Like, shit, you guys maybe painted yourself into a corner. Or maybe you should have just, like, done another pass at that third act.
Entirely possible.
It's worth watching. It does a lot of really interesting stuff. There's a lot of great performances. Again, Connor O'Malley's in it for like 3 minutes, but what an amazing 3 minutes.
Steals the show. Just
he's like I was doing with Mallory. She was saying how but like it's such a perfect like weird older shithead thing, like your first job, the guy who's 22 would say to you.
He has some shit that just goes down. Not just that, but like everything I've seen him in recently. I was telling you about Detroiters. He released an hour-long short film found footage movie about him being an amateur rapper in the early 2000s. He nails a specific time and a place kind of vibe.
There was that one where he came out like The Mask, where he was like trying as a already established writer and comedian, went to LA and was trying to like make it.
Yes.
I only got like 20 minutes in, and I'm like, this is too meta.
Corey's, where a guy named Corey sees another guy with his same face named Corey, kills him and takes his power and goes to LA and like walks around in this awful A fucking Robert Zadar looking mask of his own face, going like, "Yeah, all guys need to be named Corey, and we're gonna." He knows the intersection of comedy and horror very well, and I think some moments in I Saw the TV Glow also have that. There's these moments where you're like, "Am I supposed to be laughing or am I supposed to be pissing my pants scared?" I could go either way.
Yeah,
comedy and horror, strange bedfellows, and I love it.
Again, some really great set dressing, some really great performances on that movie. It really fucking had me the whole way through. It feels like a singular piece of artwork.
True that. Well, speaking of endings,
like, you know, it's like, God damn it, why can't every movie have a perfect ending like fucking Dawn of the Dead?
I know, right? If only. Actually, every movie should have the ending of Dawn of the Dead. That's just every movie. No matter if there were ever zombies involved in it. But endings got me thinking, a show that I started purely on a whim based on some mutual friends that are part of the podcast, submitted for the approval of the Midnight Pals, where I play Stephen King. They talked about a TV show that Hulu made where it was, they jammed a bunch of Stephen King stories together and made a TV show out of it called Castle Rock. Have you heard of this? Are you familiar with this?
I have heard of this, yeah.
An interesting idea happening. So, season 1, it's supposed to be an anthology series, but it got canceled after season 2. So, sadly, there are really only 2 stories within the Castle Rock extended universe. Season 1, I cannot recommend to anyone, not because it's not good, just because it's a little out there. I will say this. You got Terry O'Quinn, whom I love, not only from Lost and everything else he's been in, but also, I realize this now, I had already seen this movie many, many years ago, had forgotten that it was him. He's the lead in The Stepfather horror movie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. So, well, in this, he's the warden of Shawshank Prison who discovers the devil lives in Castle Rock, and he's going to keep the devil in jail. But the show opens after his suicide, which means that he only appears briefly in the show, flashbacks, whatever, which is a damn shame. Terry O'Quinn rules. The devil calls for his lawyer. There's all these little intersections. Alan Pangborn, the former sheriff from other Stephen King stories like Needful Things and a couple other ones, shows up as a character in it. There's a lot of stuff that alludes to Stephen King stories. Like there's a bit where the lawyer character is going through Pangborn's newspaper clippings, and it's killer dog attacks town. Okay, Cujo. You know, like
right.
If fire burns down this way, okay, that was Needful Things. You know, like, okay, that's references. You're not building a show out of Stephen King stuff. It's just, this is Castle Rock, and here's a place. Here's Shawshank Prison, sure. You know, it doesn't really cohese into anything other than a story that wants to tell itself, which is fine. I just feel like, well, what are we doing here? But I did start the second season, which centers on Lizzie Kaplan as Annie Wilkes from Misery, the Kathy Bates character.
Right.
Lizzie Kaplan doing a bang-up impression of the Kathy Bates character, but also turning it a little bit. Fantastic. You got Tim Robbins in the second season as the town mafia boss, Pops Merrill, who is also featured in a number of Stephen King books, most notably Salem's Lot. And then also part of the conflict of this season does involve Jerusalem's Lot, which is called Salem's Lot by the residents. So far, no vampires, though, so we'll see. But because that was the big thing in Salem's Lot.
Sure.
It wants to go there because there's a character named Jackie Torrance, and she does kill someone with an axe, but then she disappears at the end of season 1 to go back out west. You know, got some family business to attend to.
Oh, jeez.
But nothing comes of it. It's just that one line dropped in a post-credits sequence. Baffling. It's a series of baffling decisions. Why do you get, Terry O'Quinn and then just have his character die right away? Or why do you get Sissy Spacek in an amazing role and she's in maybe 4 episodes of 10? What? It's just any number of things. You go, what the fuck is it? Why? Why are we doing this? When season 2 hits, you get a little bit more. Like, okay, Lizzie Kaplan's in every episode. Tim Robbins is on every episode. Okay, we're cooking. It wasn't cooking enough for Hulu to renew it for a 3rd season. So sadly, this is it. I'm halfway through the 2nd season, and I'm already like, well, all right, no vampires. I'm kind of like, okay, well, we haven't done,
Right.
we haven't done anything about Firestarter. We're missing out on a killer car. Like if we're doing Stephen King shit, let's go nuts. No cowboys showing up. No Men in Black. None of that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
No regulators. No dome coming over the town. That was another one where they wasted some casting. Dean Norris as the bad guy. I don't know. I don't buy it.
Special Agent Hank Schrader.
I'm telling you, man.
So, porn gifts.
Oh, that's right. Porn gifts. Did he leave that post up? That's what I want.
I think he left it up.
Okay, a good sense of humor, because he's also the one. He goes on Cameo and will just respond to anybody, be like, "You're a sussy baka, and you're gooning over there, and you're."
Just doing the whole Hank Schrader thing.
In the same voice, yeah. Oh, it's beautiful.
Because he's like a comedic actor that just decides to do serious
He
roles,
well, it's like Bob Odenkirk. He just kind of happened into it. Yeah.
Because he's like has a pretty serious role. I mean, he's only in Starship Troopers for like 3 minutes.
Yes. But again, that movie is so tonally all over the place. Who knows if that was supposed to be funny or like...
Who knows?
Paul Verhoeven is a land of contrasts. But the other thing that was really funny and really short that I just wanted to share with you is a small game from a British gaming company. One of the people behind Untitled Goose Game came out with another kind of adventure game, and it's called Thank Goodness You're Here. Have you heard of this?
About this? Yeah. Heard a lot of good hype.
Well, let me say this. It is a short game. So you got to be aware of that if you're going to go out and buy it, because they're currently asking $20 on Steam. Now, however, it is extremely funny and very, very British. Panic is the publisher, British studio Cole Supper. And this town in northern England has you come in as someone from the government to help them out, but then everyone kind of just latches onto you. You've got a cadre of British, Irish, and other UK voice actors. Just amazing stuff. Let's see here. Matt Berry, John Blythe, M. Hubel, David Ferguson, Peter Sutton, Jack Evans, James Carter, and Will Todd. If you know any of those names, you know your British comedy. But most people, of course, will know Matt Berry from What We Do in the Shadows.
Jackie Daytona.
Normal.
Human bartender.
And boy, it's a hoot. It's short, but it is really funny, really perverse too, because there's a number of riffs. And I know Billy Connolly isn't in it, but there's a guy who sounds like Billy Connolly. One of these fellas sounds exactly like Billy Connolly, if you've ever heard the stand-up comedian. He's the local fix-it man who goes around to fix all the people's broken things, right? And he's fixing the woman who runs the chip shop's fryer. That's well and fixed, dear. She goes, well, I don't have any money in the till. Oh, not that again. I smelt like fish for a week, that type of humor, just really great stuff. And if you've ever, immersed yourself in a really bizarre BBC comedy, you'll kind of get a kick out of some of these jokes.
Doyle's War?
Yeah. Blackadder, one of those.
Yeah.
Just if you... Father Ted, Are You Being Served? It's that sense of humor, and it's very dry and very funny, and it also kind of pokes fun at itself, because there's even a bit of background graffiti of a guy pissing on a sign that says Ludo Narrative Dissonance. They're well aware, poking fun at themselves and at gaming, and it's a hoot. Wait for sale. We're gonna have the winter sale coming up soon on Steam, so don't buy it yet, but hang tight. If you can get it for $15, it'd probably be a good value. Yeah. And it's on all the different platforms too. If you're not a PC player, you got it on the PS4 or the PS5.
You can play on Switch.
You can, absolutely. You can get it on the and Mac, PlayStation, but no Xbox. But yes, just like in Far Cry 4, you can sit in the opening area for 15 real world minutes and have the game end right away if you just wait for the mayor to be done with his meeting. I don't know. Did you know this in Far Cry 4?
Oh, yeah, I know that. Yeah. Ming Ping or whatever his name is. It's like, thank you for waiting.
Pagan Min. Yes.
Min. And we'll take you to, because the whole thing at the end of is literally like right by the palace or whatever you're in. And he's like, I'll take you there.
You get on a helicopter and he's like, how about we blow some shit up? Panic Inc. They did Untitled Goose Game and Firewatch. If you never played Firewatch, that's worth a hit
supposed
too.
to be really good. So you should probably play all 3 of those games.
Oh, absolutely.
Not kill yourself.
In the meantime, have fun, I guess. How about yourself? Anything going on?
I got to see Pokey LaFarge.
Pokey LaFarge!
Oh,
Stop
man
the
about
presses!
town. The St. Louis boy done good.
Stop the presses! Yeah?
I had myself a phosphate soda down there at the Delmar Hall.
Wowza!
Saw myself some old-timey guitar music.
Wowie zowie!
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is I heard him on the way home today. I heard Riot in the Streets. I hadn't listened to that song since it came out, and I'm like, boy, this is kind of cringe, bro. I don't know why, but
Was that his Ferguson song?
That was his Ferguson song, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's cringe as fuck.
It's fine. It's just a bit on the nose, you know. But seeing him live apparently was impressive.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed. I met Mr. LaFarge several times over the years. So Pokey LaFarge, for those who don't know, is a St. Louis boy who now lives out in the East Coast.
Like you do.
And he plays old-timey guitar music. I don't have the reference. Like, it's kind of like folk roots, rock, blues stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he was featured on the Outlaw Country Channel, which I was like, okay, kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, like early...
Roots music.
Roots
Americana.
Music. Yeah.
And
Stuff, T-Bone Burnett style.
Yeah. And I always found his persona to be a little hokey.
Yeah, he was always the prairie home companion of musicians.
I myself and local musician Matt Picker.
Oh gosh,
made lots of riffs at his expense.
Oh my goodness. Well, and myself as well. I've spared him no expense either. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hate the persona a couple different levels. However, he seems to have reined it in quite a bit over the last couple of years.
Well, that's nice.
It's a little less out there. It's a little bit more grounded. It's more of a showman thing than like trying to be a facsimile of a bygone era.
Which is good, yes.
Yeah, like he's still got the look and the music. Like he's always been a good writer.
Oh yeah,
and always performed with really good people. You know, his old band Pokey LaFarge and the Southside 3.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Pokey LaFarge, the man himself, is a sweetheart. He's always been very polite, very professional, and that's all I've ever heard about him in the last 14, 15 years.
The Tim Blake Nelson looking motherfucker. That's always I could think of.
From Buster Scruggs. Yeah.
If you know who I'm talking about, the singing cowboy for the opening of Buster Scruggs.
Yeah.
In my mind, that's Pokey LaFarge. So for those of you missing the cultural context on Netflix, go watch just the opening 10 minutes or so of The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, the singing cowboy in that. I always think of Pokey LaFarge when I see that scene or when I think of that type of guy. Well, I just need that just folksy and down home, and boy, he just loves to sing.
Boy, anyone got some swishel for me? I'm parched from painting these here fences. But yeah, he like comes out, and he's got his hair slicked back, and he's got like a nice all black kind of vintage tailored suit with a couple, you know, he's got like a right, like some sort of brooch.
Yeah.
On his lapel.
And I saw that photo that you posted. Yeah.
And you know, he's playing. Everyone plays a fucking jazz master these days. That's my biggest complaint in music. It's not the mumblecore rappers. It's everyone's got to play an offset Fender.
Yeah.
With the wonky fucking vibrato system and the weird complicated switching, the rhythm circuit and the lead circuit. How about you just play a fucking guitar?
Well, I mean, a couple of years ago, it was everybody plays a telly, so. You you never know.
I mean, I say this in like my favorite guitar is an offset Telecaster, which is just a Jazzmaster with Telecaster controls instead of Jazzmaster controls.
Was that switches instead of knobs?
So you just have like the 3-position toggle, the tone, and the volume knobs. You don't have the circuits and all that.
Okay.
I'm really getting into the fucking weeds here. It has a string through body construction. It doesn't have vibrato. It actually has like a Telecaster pickup setup. Like it's basically if you slapped a guitar, but it was also a Japanese version that was supposed to be a signature model for some Japanese musician that fell through, and so they just like, well, we got like these 2,000 guitars, and just like unload half of them on the American market and the rest in Japan. And I got one of them. It's all mahogany body and neck. Really pretty guitar. I love it. But it had P90 in the neck, Telecaster bridge pickup in the bridge. And for those who don't know, Japanese-made Fender guitars typically have better construction than Mexican guitars, sometimes better construction than American-made Fenders. But the electronics, particularly the pickups, usually kind of suck. And I didn't really like the pickups that were in it. So I threw in a Lawler gold foil in the neck. It was a P90 mount version of that. And then got a whatever Telecaster pickup someone recommended to match that. And it's a great sounding little guitar. I just don't play it that often. For me, I just wanted to recreate Rick from Hot Snake's setup.
Oh, sure.
Because that's what he would do with his Telecasters.
Who
He would
wouldn't?
take a gold foil from a old Harmony or Silvertone guitar and throw it in the neck position of a Telecaster. And actually, the last time I saw Hot Snakes, he had one of those guitars, and that was
Damn.
I had that on my Facebook page for a while.
Nice. Anyway,
But
Pokey.
anyways, but Pokey LaFarge is playing this very nice custom shop. It looked like a custom shop because the neck had a lot of flame to it. The headstock was really heavily figured. So I'm like, this has to be
It
a custom
probably was.
shop. Of
Yeah.
a 59 replica, and 59 was the first year that Fender made the Jazzmaster. And
I mean, he's on third, man. He's got to have some funky guitars, right?
Sure. But the whole thing about the 59 Jazzmaster is that I think the only paint job they offered was this like shoreline gold with a gold iodized pick guard scratch.
Oh,
plate.
yeah.
And I'm gonna say I've never seen a guitar complement outfit so well. Like, he looked fucking sharp. Even though I complain about everyone has to play a fucking Jazzmaster. It doesn't matter if you're playing indie rock. Doesn't matter if you're playing the shit that Pokey plays. Doesn't matter if you're in fucking Viagra Boys. Everyone has to play a fucking Jazzmaster. It's kind of boring to me.
Despite that.
Despite that, fucking, he looked sharp. I brought out the medium format camera for the first time at Del Mar Hall since Swans, which was back in May. And the first time I think I brought out the medium format camera, the photograph show since Waxahachie a couple months ago. And I was like, well, the autofocus is a little funny, but I don't think he's going to be moving around that much. And he did move around, but it was just enough for the autofocus didn't lose him.
Okay.
And so I got some stuff I'm really happy with. I'm just so fucking busy trying to find time for everything. But the photos I have gotten to edit, I'm really happy with. I'm excited to share them. But yeah, I'm not like really photographing much rest of the month. Big X the Plug
Yeah.
has got a sold out show at Del Mar Hall this upcoming Friday. Or 2 Fridays from now, so it will be the Friday after this is released. And I was talking with some people, and they're like, "Well, we know that work for Pageant and its sister venue, Del Mar Hall. Like, well, we kind of know how a sold out hip hop show goes at the Pageant, but I don't think there's really been a sold out hip hop show that wasn't like Jelly Roll or something at Del Mar Hall." I'm like, "Yeah, it's gonna be a real interesting Friday night."
Yeah.
But Big X the Plug. One of the better like Southern rappers I've heard in a minute. I really just like his flow. He's got some good shit going on. It's definitely like that fucking Dirty South. It's got a little bit of trap influence in there, like, but some nice flow.
I keep hearing people talk about UGK when they talk about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Just real fucking smooth.
Fucking A.
So I'm looking forward to that. And then of course the Saturday after that is the 10th anniversary show for local old dudes playing heavy music, Hell Night, over at Off Broadway. So I'm looking forward to that.
But okay, that's good to
That's
know.
all I got going on, man. I'm kind of boring right now. I'm just going slowly insane.
Oh, trust me, I'm with you. Well, I guess that means it's time for you to tell people where to find you.
If you want to send me death threats or tell me that I'm ruining my life, you can find me over on Twitter at iShotGuidBoard, ISHOTGUIDBORD. If you want to find me on Instagram, it's a music photographer. If you want to check out a website that still isn't working, you can go over to musicphotographer.com. If you want to check out my portfolio, which is most certainly fucking working, you can go over to asshole musicphotographer.com. You can go over to artsstl.com, the last and only good media website less than St. Louis. They have been on a 120-day plus posting streak.
Hell yeah.
And I have not contributed to any of it for a couple months.
Someday.
someday I'll finish the shit about music that happened 2 months ago. All right, fuck, might as well just give up, really. Anyways, that's what's going on. Jason, where can they tell you to eat shit and die?
Fair enough. You can tell me that over at Blue Sky. I have made the move permanently. That is a video crime. Of course, anywhere there's a video crime, chances are that's going to be me. I mean, you're talking Letterboxd, wherever. And you can also find me as part of a
RedTube.
Well, later. You can also find me as part of a podcast that's not this one. It's called Submitted for the Approval of the Midnight Pals. There I play a fictionalized version of, yes, Stephen King. And those episodes for season 2 are coming soon. But if you want to catch up on season 1 before then, by all means, do that thing. Look it up on anywhere podcasts are sold. Chances are, wherever you're listening to this show, you'll also be able to find that one. But if you want to go directly to that website, you can do that too. That is midnight-pals.simplecast.com. You can contact the show itself in a number of ways. My personal favorite is the telephone. Give us a call, 314-246-9766. That's 314-AHOY POO if you like to spell with your telephone. You can shoot us an email, Jason at 4 minutesofdogsbarking.com. Brian with a Y at 4 minutesofdogsbarking.com. And if you want to support the show, if you like what you hear, that's patreon.com/48minutesofdogs. There you will find our post-show hangout called Thanks I Hate It, the occasional brain rot that we call the Mind Zone, and whatever else comes into our sticky little brains. And if you get yourself in there at the $10 level before the end of the year, you're going to get yourself an exclusive, that's right, 90-minute commentary track on a Japanese puke fetish video called Garo Monster Home Delivery. Sign up today. Find out what you're missing out on, because there's just all sorts of funny additional content when we talk about just whatever the fuck comes into our brains, and I love it. I love the fact that we have a place to be unfiltered and completely ridiculous. Speaking of completely ridiculous, that's right, it's the end of the show. As we always say at this time, namaste, good luck, give mommy a good gut fucking, 25th Amendment now, eat the knife, and who ate all of the pussy?
The fuck was that?
I don't know.
Anyways, guys, good night.